All right, hello, welcome back, everybody. This is GVS. Today is June 6th, 2025. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and one of the big, already stumbling out of the gate, sorry. One of the bigger stories that just broke literally as I'm starting to hit record. I didn't see it this morning because I wasn't looking, but then I was just double checking through some stuff and going through. Coach DeBoer just got fired about an hour ago, and so we'll definitely need to talk about that because that's some big news from the NHL world. Um, we'll talk a little bit about yesterday's action between the Pacers and the Thunder, and then we'll give a game two preview for the Stanley Cup final tonight between Florida and Edmonton. Yeah, game two's a little bit later tonight, and so I thought I'd give my thoughts and predictions on how that game might go. If you have any sports takes that you want to let me know, be sure to let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to cover them towards the end of the show. But yeah, I thank you guys for being here. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoy. So first things first, let's talk about kind of just what transpired the other night with Tyrese Halliburton and just all the stinking memes. Oh, it's been fun to look at the memes and how this series has unfolded and how it's played out. I like how um, there's been a lot, like, we know who the heavy favorites are. Like, we know who the underdog team is in this series. It's not the Pacers. No, I'm teasing. But the fact, well, just you look at it from the media perspective and the media landscape of, okay, the Pacers are pretty big underdogs in this series to the Thunder. The Thunder have shown why they've won. We've seen their, how many double digit wins this regular season, how many blowouts. Them getting up there with like the Warriors and the Bulls on wins total regular season and plus postseason. Like, we've seen all those stats. We've seen the stats of Shea, their MVP. We've seen the stats of just everybody else, unlike their starting five, with how each of them can contribute double digit numbers. And so when we go into the series against the Pacers, it's easy to see, okay, the Thunder are more built. The Thunder are a better team all around. Yet look at what the frick happened the other night. And I think I in my own personal prediction, I have said Thunder in six. I'm leaning Thunder in six or Thunder in seven. Like, this whole fun, just thought and idea of, oh, it's going to be a sweep. It's going to be a Thunder sweep, or Thunder are going to get them done in five. Like, I've said it, and I've beat that drum before, where I don't see the Thunder. I don't see the Thunder beating the Pacers in four without losing a couple. Like, I don't see a sweep, kind of like how it was back in 2018 with the Cavs and the Warriors. I don't see a gentleman sweep, this thing getting done in five, kind of like how Boston and the Mavericks were last season. Like, I think, truthfully, like with how, like the old saying goes, once the road team wins a playoff game, the series officially begun. Well, looks like this series has begun because all home court momentum taken right out of the building. And so now the Thunder worrying about, okay, we have to have home court. Look at what happened the last time the Thunder lost game one at home. It was against the Nuggets, and that series eventually went seven and went the distance. And so I think it's easy to say, because, yeah, you look at the records and the stats and stuff, the Thunder are a damn good team, and there's a reason why they're the overdogs in this situation, and just Indiana's a huge underdog in this series. But again, both teams complement each other very well, and we saw it because we see the stretches of, okay, Thunder start out real hot, they go on a run. Guess what? The Pacers come back a little bit. We call a timeout. We go to a TV commercial timeout, or just with the fact that like, we've seen the Knicks do it, we've seen the Pacers do it. Who else have we seen do it? Probably, I bet probably the Nuggets did it in some of the games that they won against the Thunder, but I'll have to double check. But another, I believe it was 15-point blown lead and stuff in the fourth quarter, and it just shows that, like, okay, you'll be up by X amount, but then guess what? We'll make adjustments, and then we'll go on a little bit of our own run because you'll get cold from the three or something. And then look at this, in five 4 or 5 possessions, we've already reclaimed the lead. Because the three ball has definitely made it to where 15 points might seem like a lot, but if you're missing your shots and then in transition they go and sink a three, okay, now that 15-point lead's cut. They sink 2 back-to-back threes. Okay, now the lead's only 9. So it just like when when you want to look at like points like that, like it doesn't surprise me that the Pacers came back because we've seen them come back before in historic fashion. They did it against the Knicks in Game 1. So it was a good game. It was a good game. It had a really good ending. And so yeah, that's just kind of like my thoughts on how that one ended. Where again we have uh, 4 minutes to go, and it's like, okay, you know, players like Holmgren, like SGA, like they need to make these baskets. They need to make these buckets, and we saw it. They didn't. They would miss, and then a quick timeout, kind of like how the very last play and the very last situation went, where okay, Shea has the ball. He misses a tough contested, what was it, on the elbow or something. It was about a 10, 12 footer. He misses it, and then in transition, here we go. Tyrese has the ball, and we see what happens, where they run this kind of situation. They've run this kind of situation before, where, okay, they have the ball last. He's taking the shot, and look at this. Just a simple, doesn't need to take the three ball. Doesn't, like, all he needs to do, because it was 109 to 109, I believe it was. Because it ended 109 to 111. Yes. Or was it... Oh, let me double check the score. Was it tied, or were they only down where they only needed one bucket? They needed a bucket. It didn't need to be a 3. It only needed to be a 2. Let me double check. Hold on. I'm getting my scores mixed up. Here we go. NBA. Tyrese Halliburton has made the leap. The Thunder should be terrified. Oh, 111 to 110. Okay, yes. They were only down 109 to 110. So, yeah, they were only down. They didn't need to, okay, we need to just chuck up a 3 here. You know, if it goes, it goes. They just needed to come get a good shot off. What would have been even funnier is if it was a stinking layup backdoor. But yeah, we saw the situation. We saw how the situation played out, where there was no kind of, and we saw it in games 1 and 2 with the Knicks and the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals series. There needed to be a desperation heave. There needed to be a desperate 3-ball chucked up where, okay, Jalen Brunson, he's going to throw it. Hopefully this goes in. It wasn't that situation. Obviously, it was a desperate bucket because they were down by 1. But, I can't remember off the top of my head if Neesmith was shooting good that night, or Siakam. It just seemed like, yeah, you got to give it to Tyrese in that moment, because he has in these playoffs shown he can make the clutch bucket. So good on them, taking a 1-0 series lead. And then everybody's kind of like, oh shit, here we go. Because I do think it's tough for me to see the Pacers beating the Thunder 4 times. Because if they're going to beat them 4 times, it's going to be in this exact fashion where Thunder get up, but then the Thunder get comfy and they're like, whatever. And like with basketball and runs and momentums, we've seen that, like, if you're up, you need to just stay up, if that makes sense. So would Coach Thibodeau technically be crazy for keeping his guys in and all the money? Yeah, not all the money, all the minutes he coaches them? No, but yeah, I think, and I think, I don't remember which stream I talked about this, but I did touch on it a little bit, where yes, as impressive it is to see the Thunder whoop ass, double digits, and blow these teams out. What's going to happen when these games get close? Because that's the thing about the NBA Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals and just the playoffs in general, is It's a different level of basketball. It is. You cannot deny that. Even though when you look at it through the TV, there's no NBA final logos on the court anymore, and it kind of does look like a regular season game. Um, with the manner of which, like, regular season intensity versus playoff intensity, it's like it doesn't matter if the Thunder went 82-0 and blew everybody out by 10 points. The thing is these final games are just going to be just a little bit more, and they're going to be just a little bit closer. So where we look at all the wins that the Thunder have had, how many have been one possession games? How many of these games have um, the Thunder been down by 5 and then been down by 10, down by 15, and had to come back? You see what I'm meaning? Or how many of these games, like if it was a 10 plus point blowout, how many of these games coming into the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter was this still a one possession, two possession game? But then Shea started to pile on some threes, and then it turned out, into being a 10 plus point blowout to add to the whole, hey, we've won 60 plus games in this fashion. Like, I want to look at that deeper, but again, those are stats that not going to look. It's a lot to look at, but I said it where I think the finals will be different, where we're not going to have kind of how it was in the Western Conference Finals. We're not going to have the Thunder blowing out the Pacers by 40 like they did against the T-Wolves or something in Game 1. Now this Game 2, do I think it could be a blowout? Blowout only in the way of like 10 plus points. Maybe just that sweet spot of 10 or maybe 11 points. Not a 20, 30 point blowout like how it was in the T-Wolves. But definitely a get back. A get back of how, okay, we played like dog shit in Game 1. Let's go show what we're all about. And kind of like how it was in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Game 2 starts. The Thunder, I would not be surprised if they come out just swinging at the Pacers. And look at that, after the end of the first quarter, suffocating defense by the Thunder. Look at the score. It's 25-10. It's 25. It's 30. It's 30-9, 30-8. Like they keep the Pacers under 10 points in the first quarter. But again, I don't know if that'd be possible. Like I don't know. Like we saw it happen to the T-Wolves, and we're like, oh shit. So it's gonna be that kind of game. But we'll just see. We will just see. But that's my thoughts on how yesterday went. And yesterday's game is, you can't like if you're gonna get up on the Pacers, you just got to keep going. You got to keep going, and you got to blow them out. Like because you can't let it linger. You can't let them, because whether it's Siakam, Nembhard, Naismith, Halliburton, like they just find ways. They just find ways to get back in games. And the Thunder know it now because they're down 1-0. Cavs knew it. Knicks knew it. Bucks knew it. Now, we go back, and I think it's funny because everybody and their dog with the Pacers-Bucks series was like, oh, Bucks are winning this. No. I didn't think the Bucks were going to win that series. I'll be honest, because Dame was coming off of an injury, and I didn't expect the Bucks to, like, I think I had the Pacers in 6, and then I had the Pacers going on and playing the Cavs, but I did have the Cavs beating the Pacers because I had Cavs Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. But like, for all this, okay, Pacers can't get past the Bucks. Yes, I can, because the Bucks in the middle of the season traded away some depth, and it's like they got Dame and Giannis. Who else do they got? Who's their big? So it's just kind of funny to watch everybody kind of go, oh, maybe the Pacers are the real deal. And I know I've kind of had those aha moments of, well, shit, I picked the Knicks, and what are the Knicks doing? They're doing what I'm doing. They're watching the game at home. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Cool game, cool shot by Halliburton. Other news in the NBA world, let me look. I don't think we got any other crazy news in the NBA world other than we got the game tomorrow. Oh, no. Hold on. All right, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that delay. We got loud noises outside. But I also saw that some of the other big news, from what it looks like when you're reading some of these articles, is it looks like the owners, they're going to urge exploring expansion. So an expansion team potentially on the horizon for the NBA. We've known that it's Vegas. It's Vegas. Haven't they wanted to go to Vegas? Because when the Vegas Golden Knights became a team, like wasn't that the big, like right after right after the Warriors right after the Warriors won the NBA Finals, or was it right after they lost the second time after they got swept, and like the Vegas Golden Knights were in their first Stanley Cup final back in 2018. Wasn't that when there was a buzz of like, holy cow, we can have winning culture here. We can have a sports team here because there's never been because the pro sports in Nevada have been like the college teams. You know what I mean? Um, and the fact like they haven't had a sports team there until Vegas came, and then um, aren't the A's supposed to play there pretty soon? Oakland A's. And then we know about the UNLV Rebels. Um, the Raiders. The Raiders went there, which, yeah, not a Raiders fan. Oh, hold on. Okay, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Back at it. Back at it. Back at it. But we were talking about Vegas. Vegas being an expansion place for pro sports. And so when we're seeing news and articles about NBA owners potentially eyeing an expansion, it's going to be Vegas. What's another? Wasn't San Diego? San Diego. San Diego, I think, was up there. Because we'd go to California because of all the big cities in California. So you could have the San Diego Padres. We know the Chargers left, but other big markets. Didn't they? Vegas, San Diego. I'm trying to think East. East. Did they ever want? You know what? Let's look it up. Let's have some fun here. Let's look it up. Seattle. Why am I such a... Seattle. Yes. Seattle and Las Vegas. Yes. Yes. Because they were like, let's bring the Seattle Supersonics back. Yes. Mexico City. I could see the game expanding that way because we have a team in Toronto, and I could also see us getting a team in South America. But it just depends. I don't see because here possible just from Google here possible NBA expansion cities: Seattle, Mexico City, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Montreal, San Diego, Vancouver, Louisville, and that's Yeah. Um, oh, so this article's it's kind of old, but I guess it's resurfacing now. Um, Seattle. Yeah, I could see them going to Seattle, but we'll see. Excuse me. Um, but what else? What else were some NBA news? Oh, there was talks that the Knicks are interested in speaking with Jason Kidd for a new head coach because after Coach Thibodeau brought you the best, the farthest you guys have gotten in 25 years, it's like nope, the door's that way. So, um, we'll see. I think Coach Thibodeau's not he's not going to be unemployed for very long. Like he will find a job elsewhere. Um, so does that mean Dallas fired Jason Kidd? Hold on. Am I this out of the loop? Let's double check. Jason Kidd firing. Oh, okay. So he's still with the Mavericks, but the Knicks want to. Oh, yeah. Okay. We want to interview him. Oh, so the Mavs are firing him? Is that no? Um, I what? Okay. The other thing too. Now, okay. So we talked a little bit. Let's go around. Just keep looking around. Um. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Let's. No. Let's talk about the NHL now. Just because we've been streaming forever. Some of the big news that just broke like before we started. Um, hold on. Okay, I think we're gonna. If it was gonna get loud again, I was gonna go whoop. Um, no, if the no the big news that just broke about an hour ago is that Coach DeBoer, the Dallas Stars, they have he's been fired. They're no longer working together, and honestly, when you look at it, this comes down to Game Five and what happened in the Western Conference Finals. Like you could look at it from the point of view too of three straight Western Conference Finals appearances, zero Stanley Cup final appearances. You can look at it from that aspect, but it's like um, they lost to Vegas, who ended up going and winning the Stanley Cup. Plus, Vegas was just a wagon that summer, and that just nobody could compete with them. Didn't they go up 3-0 against the Stars anyway? Like they took games 1 and 2 and then they took game 3 in Dallas, but then Dallas fended off an elimination I think they got gentlemen swept. But then you look at last season losing to the Oilers and we saw how far the Oilers got in the Stanley Cup final last season. I think this season it probably has to do with pulling Jake Ottinger after 2 shots on goal. Now I know both of them went in, like 2 shots, 2 goals. And when you look at it back, I mean, one was a power play goal where nobody was defending Perry, but that's no excuse. Like Ottinger is one of the top goaltenders in the league; he should be able to stop that. But I think, yeah, again, we're looking at coaching firings in the NBA where it's like, okay, that might be a little bit of an overreaction. And I look at this where I go, okay, that could be a little bit of an overreaction. I don't know what's going to happen in Dallas. I mean, we've seen the Rangers get a new head coach. We've seen the Penguins get a new head coach. I'm interested to see who Dallas now goes and gets for a head coach, and what other changes. Because usually when you get a new coach, you start to clean house a little bit. I wonder which direction they're going to go. But I think a lot of this decision, and I may be overreacting here, probably does stem from pulling Ottinger in Game 5, where we know because we've watched it in these playoffs. Hell, look at the Stanley Cup final. Look at what just happened. Panthers were up 3-1. They had all the momentum after Bennett scored that goal. Oilers fought back and they ended up taking it in OT. So I think in the manner of which he pulled him in the time that was left in the game, because there was still a lot of game left in Game 5, it probably led to okay, we got to make a tough decision here, and they fired him. So, but here's the thing: you look at all the other coaches that have been fired. Coach DeBoer is a hell of a coach. Um, oh shit, does that? I don't want to. I'm not even going to mention the other coach that lost in the conference finals this year, but I wonder where he's going. Because Coach DeBoer is not going to be out of a job for long. He's going to go find somewhere else to go. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. Okay, now let's go and let's get into let's finish this. Let's finish this stream up. Let's wrap it up. We've been going a little longer than expected. So we have game 2 tonight between Florida. No, that's just the garbage truck. I was like, oh hell, what now? No. So we have game 2 tonight between Florida and Edmonton. This is the Stanley Cup final. We saw the manner in which the Oilers, they had a wonderful comeback. They were down 3-1 after Bennett had that goal, and just you could feel the tenseness in the building where all momentum was gone, and it's kind of like, well, here we go. We're gonna have another. We'll see. We're gonna have another tough, long game by the Oilers, but then they just started to chip away at it. Arvidsson had a goal. Ekholm had a goal, and then after tying this thing up in overtime, we had a little bit of overtime magic where McDavid, good pass cross ice there to Draisaitl where he went 5-hole. And the Oilers now lead 1-0. I think with just how well both of these teams play, because there's a reason why they're here. They're arguably the two best teams standing. Like, we can't go, well, if no. These are the two best teams standing, and I think with how game 2 might play out tonight, I really do think, I hate to say it because I'm going to pick them in back-to-back games in my predictions and stuff, but I'm taking Florida tonight. And I'm still on the sentiment, too, of we'll leave Sunrise, Florida after Game 4 tied at 2 apiece. But again, I don't see... Like, I see whoever wins tonight probably wins Games 2 and 3. And so what my thought and my prediction was, okay, Florida steals Game 1, but then Edmonton steals Games 2 and 3, but then Florida, hey, Florida can't go down 3-1. They steal Game 4, and then we go back to Edmonton for Game 5, tied at 2 apiece. Like, I kind of have a feeling where, after the manner of which you blew a 3-1 lead, Florida's coming back. Florida's going to play lights out. And I think we'll see with how shift time is, where last game kind of like the D-men were on the ice a little bit more than some of the offensive superpowers like Tkachuk or Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe. So I have a feeling that we might see a little bit more offensive firepower. Do I think it could be a low-scoring game? Probably, because I feel like both teams have figured each other out, and we've gotten the feelers out. Do I think it will be tough, gritty, lots of hits? Yes, this is hockey. But I kind of have a feeling where if Florida wants to get back in this series and kind of just even things out and make it go, okay, maybe they are the real deal. They know how to win on the road. So they win tonight. Sergei Bobrovsky has another good game. Dude had to face 40 shots the other game. So, I mean, if we want to put Bobrovsky in talks with the Conn Smythe, this is the game that he steals. This is a game where, okay, instead of going down 2-0, Bobrovsky only allows 1 goal, maybe. We'll give it to McDavid or something, because McDavid's got to get involved in these Stanley Cups. But Bobrovsky, after facing like 35-plus shots or something, because I do feel like Edmonton will throw everything at him, and Florida's going to throw everything at Skinner. Bobrovsky plays on his head, and Florida sneaks out of here with like a 3-1 win or something like that. I don't know. Like, I have a feeling with retaliation on how both of these teams, how they bounce back after a loss. Yeah, well, I think we have the makings of a good game too. Again, we'll see, dude. What if? Oh gosh, was it Game 5 or something where there were 8 goals, where Edmonton just blew out Florida? I think though the Panthers can come back on this one, and yeah, if Bobrovsky or the Panthers want to get back in this series and kind of jolt everybody, kind of how it was after it felt when Panthers are up 3-1. This is the game to do it. Make this thing 1-1, take all momentum back to Florida for Game 3. We'll see where we go from there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. yeah, I think we still, we have a good game. And this series, kind of like the NBA Finals, I think it could go the distance, and I think we got some good games on our hands. But I wanted to just do a quick preview. That's my preview for how this game could potentially play out. Let's now double check. Let's go swing around here. Let's go look at some news one more time. Um, oh, we didn't talk about QB Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. We did a stream yesterday talking about Rodgers, but I guess we can talk about it again. Yeah, let's do NBA, MLB. Patino, absolutely not interested in Nick's job. Yeah, no shit. No, it's him and St. John's. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Same with Dan Hurley. I love how we keep throwing Dan Hurley's name back out there. Like, oh, Dan Hurley, Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley's gonna stay at UConn. Let's not kid ourselves. Uh, NHL. Yep. Stars fire Coach DeBoer after West Finals lost. Panthers aim to, quote, do better versus, quote, dangerous Oilers. Ooh, Avs O'Connor out 5 to 6 months after hip surgery. Oh, that's... We'll see where the Avs go. I'm kind of jumping on that fun bandwagon train of Jay Cottinger requesting a trade out of Dallas. But I think I will say this. If they fired Coach DeBoer, like I'm not, you know how with some like sports where there's a situation where it's like, okay, it's me or this. Like, shit. Let's look at the Jets for example. The Jets were like, okay, you either fire Robert Saleh or you cut Aaron Rodgers or something. They ended up getting rid of both. But like maybe relations with the Stars kind of did get a little heated after the end of game 5 and like the manner of which they lost and the way that they went out, because it's embarrassing. Like don't get it twisted. Like, you blow the Oilers out in game 1 and then you lose 4 straight. Like, hello? Am I the only one, but like you can see it with the Stars. We'll probably see it a little bit with the Canes. We'll definitely see it with Toronto because only time tells, baby. Before we see breaking news, William Nylander has been cut, or Mitch Marner has been cut, or because their core 4, it's not going to stay together. Like we saw a couple days ago, the president stepped down with the Leafs organization, but maybe I throw out the joke about Ottinger going to the Avalanche, and then Blackwood goes to the Stars, or they could keep Blackwood. They could keep Blackwood and just give up future picks, and then we could have a tandem of Blackwood and Ottinger, because Blackwood did play pretty good in that series. He did, and then we could have another fantastic goalie tandem, like how it was with Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. But no, the Bruins, no. But I think maybe just with the manner of which the Stars lose 3 straight Western Conference Finals and how Game 5 ended, maybe it was, okay, you either trade me or you fire Coach DeBoer. And Dallas is like, well, we're not getting rid of you, so. Hey, DeBoer. Ben Simmons. We're good. We got Ben Simmons. Sorry if you get that. You're an OG. But I'll sorry, I feel so stupid for making that reference. I think yeah, but I don't think DeBoer is going to be out of a job for long. But there was probably an ultimatum, maybe. I don't know. Wait, what even made me think about that? Because we did OT. Because we were talking about the Avs. Because O'Connor was out 5 to 6 months. Okay. We'll see what the Avalanche do. Like I think the Avalanche have promising upside. You got Gabriel Landeskog back. You got Makar still. You got McKinnon. You got. And then when you look at the Stars, you look at the Stars roster. Like the Stars have the guys. They have the guys to do it. They just couldn't. And like, if the Oilers win, like let's say the Oilers do win the Stanley Cup this year, it's like, as much as it sucks that in the manner of which they lost, it's like, well, we lost to the team that eventually won the Stanley Cup. Like, do you think in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, after winning the President's Cup trophy, do you think the Rangers now kind of go, well, we did lose to the team that ended up winning the Stanley Cup, so maybe we're, we went to 6 with them. Maybe we're still good. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, enough of me rambling. Okay, let's go to college football. We did talk a little bit about the 16 team. I will have a video on that coming out soon. And the synopsis basically is who gives BYU extends Young. We're talking about college basketball now. And I also saw that what's his name? The guard from Purdue, number 3 because I'm looking. I know he's coming back. Patino, absolutely not interested in Nick's job. USC lands Dartmouth guard, Cornish from Portal, Utah Valley to join Big West Conference. Doesn't the Big West belong to Gonzaga though? All right. I think we're good. And we've also seen some other portal moves, like some teams have gone to Florida. I did see that. Man, that was brutal. Potential trade offers for the top 2025 pick, Cooper Flagg. He's going to be a Maverick, guys. Let's not kid ourselves here. Okay. Y'all, I think that's it. Let me check the chat. Let's see if you guys got any cool sports takes you want me to cover. Yeah, let's check the chat and then I'll end it with some thoughts about the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Because I realized I didn't talk about... Hello. Okay. All right. So, here's the polls. Okay, we're split 50-50 with the Oilers and Panthers on who you guys got tonight. All right. I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game either way. I think... Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's end the show a little bit talking about Aaron Rodgers. I did make a video. So keep your eyes out on that. Where I think it does improve. Having Rodgers does improve the Steelers, because it just does. He's still a good QB. Now what's fun is this. Okay, here we go. This is for the haters. The Aaron Rodgers haters and the Mike Tomlin haters or something, where I want to just kind of poke fun and make this video on how, because we've seen everybody go, no, I don't want a 40-year-old as a quarterback. Look. Here's the thing. you got to just trust the process, baby. Because here's why. If, 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 if you don't like what the Steelers are doing, you want to get rid of Mike Tomlin, and you want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and you want them both out of the league, what better way to just put them together? And exactly what happened in New York, where you bring on Rodgers, Robert Saleh gets fired halfway through the season. And then once the season's over, you cut Rodgers. Guys, if you want to clean house with the Steelers and just have a change at head coach, change at quarterback, for Will Howard going forward, what better way than this? You bring Rodgers in, you let him and Mike Tomlin fart around, get to about a 9-8 record, and then after getting boat raced by the Ravens or the Bills, because they were the 7th seed having to play the 2 seed or something in the playoffs, you get boat raced 40-something to 12 because you could only get field goals in the playoff game. You realize, you know what? Maybe we need some change around here. And guess what? Rodgers then retires and Mike Tomlin's fired. So, Steelers fans, it might work out. But again, that's just my thoughts. So, yeah. Just thought I'd make a fun little stab there where, because it's been loud, the talks on how we're not going to get MVP like form of Aaron Rodgers, and it's like, well, yeah, no, he hasn't won an MVP in a couple years, but statistically, last season he did okay. It was a down year compared to his standards, but like he wasn't the worst. Like, here, let me pull up the stats here. Let's pull up the stats. Because wins and losses, I do think wins and losses, because kind of it depends. It depends. No, not standings. Stats. Here we go. Okay. Because I do think wins and losses are QB stats. Okay. All right. Aaron Rodgers with passing yards. Again, I kind of have my own feelings about yards because it just, yards are yards. He was top 10. Okay. He was under Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, and Geno Smith, who, by the way, switched teams and got their bag. Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, and Joe Burrow. And you could argue Joe Burrow should have been the MVP last season, just stats-wise. Even though wins and losses are a quarterback stat. Joe Burrow's team did not make the playoffs because their defense, there were a couple games they struggled with. Okay, so he throws for over 3,500 yards, okay? Let's look at some other quarterbacks on this list that we love, just yards-wise. Aaron Rodgers has more passing yards than Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, C.J. Stroud, Jane Daniels, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Super Bowl winning quarterback Jalen Hurts. We haven't crowned Tua yet, so take that with what you will. Young stud Drake May, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was hurt though. Yeah. Okay. So he threw more yards than them. Okay. And again, I think yards are a weird stat because, like, when you compare then touchdowns, like, let's go to touchdowns now. Okay. All right. Again, here we go. Aaron Rodgers is in the top 10. Who's thrown more touchdowns than him? Joe Burrow with 43. And again, Joe Burrow was in talks, and he could have won NFL MVP. But didn't then go to the playoffs. Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, and Bo Nix. Okay? Those were the only QBs that threw more touchdowns than him. Person that he tied Because again, touchdowns are the most important stat versus yards. Who did he tie in touchdown passes? Josh Allen. Josh Allen won the MVP. So take that with a grain of salt and do with that what you will. Now, Aaron Rodgers' production with his legs, not the same through the air, because Josh Allen also did have a lot of rushing touchdowns. Same with Jalen Hurts, so you can look at it from that point of view as well too. But Aaron Rodgers also had more passing touchdowns than Mahomes, Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert, Geno, who just got paid, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, who just got paid, Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, Tua, Super Bowl winning quarterback Jalen Hurts, and yeah, we'll leave it there because it's like, yes, Russ, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Drake May, but some of these guys were injured. Bryce Young threw more touchdown passes than Bryce Young, and we think, oh, Bryce Young in Carolina, they're going to figure it out. They're going to have a big year this year. They're going to win the South. Okay. We'll see. So now let's go to the interceptions, because interceptions are a big stat. QB that threw the most interceptions was Kirk Cousins, 16, which is probably why it's Michael Penix's job now. Okay. With a lot of touchdowns comes also a lot of interceptions as well. Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Jameis Winston. These are the top 4, top 5. Here, there's Jared Goff. Okay. All right. Now, Sam Darnold also has a lot of interceptions. Will Levis, Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson, and CJ Stroud. So, Aaron Rodgers threw 11 interceptions. But QBs that threw more interceptions, and again, there's context in everything when we look at stats. There's context to everything. But everybody thinks Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, everybody thinks these quarterbacks are better, yet they're throwing more interceptions, more turnovers. And yeah, Baker did get farther. Jared Goff did get farther. Sam Darnold individually did get farther than Rodgers. But again, this is still a team sport, guys. This is still, And then, what else? Now, QBs that threw less interceptions than Rodgers. Yes. Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Drake May, Mason Rudolph, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had 9. Matthew Stafford, Bryce Young, Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott, Tua, Andy Dalton. But again, Andy Dalton only played 6 games. Josh Allen, he threw 6. DTR, but he only played 7 games. Caleb Williams, he threw 6. And we think Caleb Williams is a bust. Even though in 17 games he only threw 6 interceptions. Again, you have to take the win-loss record of quarterbacks. You kind of got to take it with a case-by-case study and a grain of salt. Because sometimes the losses are not all on the quarterback. Jalen Hurts, he threw 5. But again, when you look at Hurts, and with, for example, Hurts and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and stuff, and we know how they're dual threat quarterbacks. Let's see how many pass attempts. Look at this, pass attempts. Joe Burrow's obviously number 1, again, because he led touchdowns, receptions, yards, all that. Joe Burrow threw the ball 652 times. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 584 times. Let's scroll here a little bit. Jalen Hurts, yes, did throw less interceptions. Lamar threw less interceptions. Josh Allen threw less interceptions. Yes, but when you look at it, Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 584 times. Josh Allen only threw it 100 less times. 483. Lamar, 474. Jalen Hurts, 361. And it just shows. It shows play scheme, and it shows, well, when you got the number one back in the NFL, Saquon Barkley, we're not going to throw the ball over 500 times a season. So there's that. So it just, I don't think Rodgers. Obviously, I don't think Rodgers is probably going to play like how he was playing in 2020 and 2021. No, but to write it off and say, "Oh, the Steelers ain't doing shit this year," I think that's more of an overreaction than me saying Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, because yeah, it was an off year to his standards and his metrics, but it was still better than a handful of quarterbacks that I've already listed off that we've went through, because we've compared. We've compared them. Let's see. I want to see. I want to see rushing. Will it show me rushing? I want to see. No, it won't. It won't show me runs. It's like, damn it, because jokingly, because we know Rodgers is not a mobile quarterback. We know Mahomes is not as mobile as he used to be. Just some fun, just some fun stats like that. Interesting. Interesting. I never looked at it. Truthfully, I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that way. Um, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. What do we got here? You look at his overall, look at this career, 500, 503 touchdowns compared to 111 interceptions. All right, enough rambling. Enough rambling. We gotta get these videos edited up. We gotta get ready for Game 2. So we're gonna do a hard out on the shorts end.